I think one of the key experiences in almost everybody's life is failure. And it's something that I think particularly a lot of high-achieving young people today are not prepared for.
The way life works is try things and be willing to risk failure. The way academics and school works, don't ever try anything that might fail. Be as risk-averse as possible, because that's going to result in that one bad grade that could cost you a chance to get into an elite college.
Dealing with failure and learning from it is actually one of the most important skills you can have. Chris Argyris was a professor at Harvard, and he wrote this beautiful paper called Teaching Smart People to Learn. He did a study where he looked at Harvard Business School grads and HBS grads. You know, presumably these are going to be like the next CEOs, the next presidents. Like, these are the people who are sort of handpicked by Harvard to, run the world at some point. And what he found was 10 to 15 years after graduation, they were almost all middle management. And they never really, or only very rarely, moved beyond middle management. And he wanted to understand why. The people who end up at an institution like that have been academically successful in elementary school and junior high school and high school. They get into a great college with a great brand where they do really well. They get the top honors, they work at a great company, and then finally they get into Harvard Business School. And they, in their lives, rarely experience failure.
They have succeeded in everything they have ever done. They've gotten all A's. For them, a B is a catastrophe.
And what happens is, you then get out into the real world, and you work and work and work, and inevitably all of us experience failure. But people who have a pattern of consistent success, because they don't experience failure, don't know how to learn from it. And what Chris found was that when successful people fail, their ability to learn shuts down at precisely the moment they need it most. They commit what's called the fundamental attribution error. They say, like, well, I didn't mess up, the market moved. I didn't get the resources I needed. My boss screwed me over, right? It wasn't about me, it wasn't my fault. And so they don't learn from that failure. And the effect he found was they end up as middle managers. That's not a bad thing, like, you live happily ever after. But there's this huge missed opportunity because they weren't learning from failure.
That's what actually builds grit. It builds perseverance, it builds resourcefulness, it builds a growth mindset, and it's what allows people to be successful when they get out of the artificial system we call school.
Learning from failure, learning that it's okay, and learning that, it's the only way to get better is to take risks and fail is an absolutely integral skill.
And somehow getting through, especially to our highest achieving young people who are totally unaccustomed to failure, and therefore I think more likely to react badly when they fail for the first time, and tell them it's okay. That's part of the process. It's part of the learning process. It's part of the growth process. And you'll be a better person, and you'll be a better leader having experienced that.